Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
We've got him with us for another 20 minutes or so. Robert Groden and, of course, Jim Marrs, top experts in their own fields of the JFK assassination. Both of them documentary filmmakers, both of them authors, both of them worked intimately on the JFK film by Oliver Stone. And I do want to start going to the phone calls here in just a few minutes, but where do you see this going? Both men briefly, as 90+% in every major poll know that there's a cover-up, a conspiracy to kill Kennedy. No amount of shoddy hit pieces are going to convince anybody otherwise. But not just with the JFK assassination. It probably started there, but with everything else now, the people know the government is a private group of criminals looting us. Where do you see this going in the future?
Well, for me...
Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, this is Jim Marrs. Unfortunately, I see that the Kennedy assassination is showing us a template for what's going to happen with 9/11. There was a period of time, and Robert knows this too, he lived through it. There was a period of time for 15, maybe 20 years after the assassination when it was not considered socially acceptable to bring that up as a topic in public. We just don't talk about that. And then, new generations came along. They were very inquisitive and curious, and all of a sudden it became okay to talk about it, and all of a sudden all this information that people like Robert and I and others had would begin to stumble out, and now everybody, the polls show that 85-90% of the population now knows, understands, and believes that Kennedy was killed as the result of a conspiracy, but it's still not an accepted thing, although, as Robert pointed out, the last word of the federal government was the House Select Committee on Assassinations, and they said there was probably a conspiracy because there was one, somebody shooting at him from the grassy knoll. Now,
they said 95% chance. 95.
Yeah, way up there. And today, what we're in that we're right back into that mode. It's not socially acceptable to speak out publicly about 9/11 in polite company, and so they'll wait 20 years, and then all the information will come out, and in 40 years, we'll all know that 9/11 was an inside job perpetrated by people within the Bush administration, and it'll just be accepted, but it still won't be officially acknowledged by leaders, nor will it be in the history books.
Robert, your comments on what he was just saying?
Well, I pretty much agree with what Jim said. You know, the American people has never been fooled by this, for the most part. I'm in Dealey Plaza hundreds and hundreds of days a year, virtually every day. And I can tell you, without doing an actual count, that approximately 99%, 99+%, don't believe the Warren Commission fairy tale. They just don't buy it. And when they see the plaza itself, they just shake their heads and can't believe that the other side tried to convince us of this incredible lie. But unfortunately, they do seem to control the national news media. They control their broadcast licenses. The head of CBS at the time of the assassination was Bill Paley, one of the founders of the Central Intelligence Agency. You know, what do we expect from him? He gave the order, and nobody would dare challenge him from Walter Cronkite on down. So they just arbitrarily started backing the Warren Commission, and that became what we got to hear. And if you talk to people on the street, if you find somebody who does believe that that there was that the Warren Commission was right, you'll ask them why. They'll quote the Warren Commission. I mean, that's totally convoluted reasoning. There's no basis in fact there. There never was. For crying out loud, the Warren Commission had 7 members. 3 of those 7 members, virtually half of them, did not believe that Oswald acted alone.
All right, Robert, Jim, stay there on the internet at prisonplanet.tv. We're going to talk behind the scenes here in this break about this weekend.
Now, from the
All right. We're not on the AM and FM right now, but we are on the web, so we are on the air transmitting, just not broadcasting right now, guys. I've been so busy. You've been so busy. I haven't really conferred with both of you about when we're hooking up. Jim, we're going to meet, I'll see you around, but we're going to meet Sunday, right? And go eat lunch and then do some interviews then, right?
Right. Well, I also arranged with your people. I told them I'd be at the Grassy Knoll about an hour earlier, about 11 o'clock. If you're going to be there, we could talk some then.
Okay, so we'll talk Saturday too then.
Right.
Okay, perfect. And maybe I'll tag along to the little convention event you're going to, because I'd like to get some shots of you talking to a crowd. Is that okay?
It's fine with me. If they'll let you in, you may have to pay door admission.
Maybe you can give me their name and number. Who's running that?
This is JFK Lancer.
Okay, well, that shouldn't be a problem. I'll call you this afternoon. Are you going to be there after the show?
Yes.
Okay. Also, Mr. Grodin, we're going to get together, Monday morning, right?
Yes, we're due to see each other Saturday in the plaza, and Monday we have an appointment for the filming.
Absolutely, and I guess Sunday you're going to be in the plaza too.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, well, I'm going to be filming some of you interacting with folks because that's also important. And then I think in the film, I also just want to mention what you brought up about the individual who now runs the school book building there, formerly being one of your colleagues. I think that's really interesting because they never want to mention that in these TV shows, do they?
Never.
All right, well, I look forward to seeing you both there. I think this is going to be a big year. I mean, it's so far out away from the killing, but also it's, people love 25s, 45s, 55s, 75s. I think there's going to be a lot of folks there.
Well, we can only hope. The people care. I see people in the plaza all year long, and they don't always just wait for the assassination anniversary, but it usually is a lot heavier then.
Do you ever have folks come up and get in your face and call you a traitor?
No, just the opposite. The exact opposite. They think that the government are the traitors.
Well, no, I mean, I understand the majority, but 90+% know it's an inside job, but, black op, but there's still those Kool-Aid drinkers. Jim, have you ever run into those?
No, not particularly, because I don't get into the accusation mode or the judgment mode. I simply present the facts and the information, and occasionally I hear somebody say, I don't believe that. Well, that's fine. They're welcome to their beliefs, but I don't believe that is not a valid argument.
Absolutely. Here we go. Back to the full audience.
Enemy lines, the information war continues. It's Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Okay, let's go ahead and talk to Bob in Florida. You're on the air with our guest. Welcome.
Hello, hello, Alex.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, this is Bob. I got a question about JFK. It seems like he was too naive in the sense that he thought he could abolish the Federal Reserve without anything happening to him. Just by reading history, he should have known that anything he did to go around the bankers would have caused his death. Is there something else he could have done to lessen the power of the Federal Reserve without actually abolishing it or printing notes, so that maybe today we could actually abolish it versus just abolishing it immediately?
Alex, can I respond to that?
Sure.
Okay, yes, there was things he could have done, and he was doing. He had his Treasury Secretary. They were beginning to alter federal regulations and rules, allowing power to be drawn back from the Federal Reserve System and back into the private banking system.
Now, he signed the executive order. He was pulling the troops out of Vietnam. He said he was going to abolish the CIA. He'd learned they were planning to stage terror attacks like 9/11. But just to expand on that, that's why even if Barack Obama was a wonderful person, nothing's going to change. That's why he's appointing all the same people. That's why he's going back on all the promises, because presidents are puppets, period. George Bush, Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan early on got out of line, and the Secret Service lit him up. You want to talk about that, Jim?
Well, I will simply say that on all three network cameras that were filming Ronald Reagan's exit from that hotel when the assassination attempt happened, recorded 7 shots very clearly. And yet Hinckley's revolver was a 6-shot revolver. So nobody has ever bothered to try to determine where that 7th shot came from. But let me finish with Kennedy.
Well, the Bushes were also big buddies with the Hinkleys.
Exactly.
And had dinner with them the night before.
That's true. And it's funny because the Bushes are also the closest business and social friends to the bin Laden family.
Oh.
Wait a minute. It gets a little thick there.
Okay, go ahead.
But in June of 1963, Kennedy even went farther than trying to curtail the power of the Federal Reserve System. He actually issued $4.2 billion in currency that he issued through the Treasury Department rather than through the Federal Reserve.